It is now the bewitching hour. So, as always, as every YouTuber in the world says, feel free to like and subscribe. That is a huge help. We're almost to 400, which is super exciting. And it just helps more people see the videos, and hopefully it'll help them out. So we've gone through every job. We've gone through dirty jobs. So light clean. So it's been a little while. Machine has looked a little needs a little TLC. You're not taking apart doing a deep clean. So the next things to clean, in addition to stuff we've already done. So again, with this off, you can pull this forward. So back here is where the air goes out. Whenever particles change speed, they tend to, fall out of the airflow. So the airflow changes here. I cleaned this recently, but this is a place that gets super gunky. Also, underneath here does as well. So the air is going under here, and the air is going over here. So this is an area that you could do a light clean. From the front, you pull out the honeycomb, and you try and get as far back as you can. You want to be careful. There are cords that go across under there, so you don't want to use anything sharp or anything like that. Another light clean would be to dust off the laser itself. Again, you're not touching it, you're not rubbing on it, but just, you don't want dust building up on here. Another light clean thing would be to blow out the sides. So little things can get stuck, so using your air to blow them either to the front or to the back, where you can vacuum them up so that it's not building up. I've seen some, I don't want to be super judgy, but I've seen some neglected machines that had issues, and it's like, I can't see the part that you're needing help with because it's covered in dust. The best use of the machine is by doing light cleaning often. Another place that, again, might need light cleaning, I know you guys are going to have a hard time seeing this. I will attempt to use the close-up cam again, so give a shout if it doesn't work, and I'll not try it again. Is the mirrors. So there's a mirror in the top that we already looked at. There's a mirror here, and then there's a mirror towards the back. I almost never touch the back mirror. I might blow some air in its direction. We have an agreement. We're kind to one another. We respect our boundaries. I don't touch things unless I need to. This mirror here, I find that more dust can get in there. And so, we're a little more friendly than me in the back mirror. Again, this comes out. You can see there's a little tiny bit. I don't know if you can see that. There's a tiny bit of buildup. Again, if you can clean it before the light hits it, and sort of like a pan that you've left to fry for a while, if you can keep it clean, then you're good to go. And again, when you put it back, you want to make sure that there are no magnets stacked on one another and that it sits in flush. So that would be light cleaning. Doing some dusting underneath and and blowing things out. Now, heavy cleaning is a full contact sport. I made a video and edited it a little bit. My wife did a great job, and then I didn't voice it over. But deep cleaning is a commitment of a bit of time. And what you want to do with deep cleaning that we haven't already done is you really want to get in and scrub the cookie tray. So you can see, I did that video a couple months ago, and you can see there's already things starting to cake on here. I soak it with LA's Awesome, give it a couple minutes, and then scrub away with paper towel. Same with the honeycomb. You know, add a bunch in there after I vacuumed out, taking this out, looking at from both sides. Got some tweezers because the wires that go through here, acrylic likes to get, little acrylic pieces like to get stuck in there. Um, but again, what you don't want is buildup that can cause that can cause other issues. I've never had a fire. I've never had a near fire, but I could see with some machines that I've seen, again, no judging, leaving things to build up for a long period of time is sort of a recipe for disaster. Another deep clean would be to take off the hose off of the back, vacuum out the hose, vacuum out the attachments. If you have, a purifier, if you have a AC Infinity or something like that, an inline fan, taking apart and servicing it. It's a world of difference if you do a deep clean, every 3 to 6 months. It's almost like getting a new machine again. You go, wow, my settings work again. Smoke isn't building up. So it makes a huge difference. Just that little bit of taking care of it. Lenses. Yeah, eyeglass lens wipes would be good. You just don't want anything that's caustic on the lenses. You don't want to rub any dirt in there. That's why I do the the non microfiber. There we go, microfiber wipes. The only thing I use glass cleaner on is up here, and that's because the other cleaner I have is a little more greasy, and so I often use glass cleaner on the top. I've used it very lightly on the fish lens. The built-in has once got smudged. My guess is it's because I was cleaning and I smudged it. So yeah, glass cleaner on the top, but most of the other stuff, either LA's Awesome, damp, slightly soapy water, but nothing terribly abrasive. All right, so I've never used Glad cleaner without ammonia, but I'm assuming if it's non-abrasive. Lens wipes, yep, those would work. Camera grade stuff, yeah, again, you want to go back and forth, not in circles, because you don't want to cause any issues with the lens integrity. Do I do anything with the tube? No. So if Mirror 1 and I are chummy, and Mirror 2 in the back, we wave from a distance, you really don't want to be messing with the tube. It's sort of like headlights when you install your own headlights. If you ever do that, they say don't touch the element. You don't want to introduce any oil. You don't want to introduce anything to the tube. So the closest I get with the tube, is I blow stuff off. If something was stuck to the tube, I'd very gently, wipe it off. You don't want to be applying any pressure there. You don't want to be joggling around at all, because that can mess up your alignment. The tube and you are partners from afar. A long distance relationship would be how I'd describe that. Rare maintenance. All right. So let me switch the camera up again. So rare maintenance. So I guess I'll attach this to the things that are easy to mess up. There is a timer that's in the software that tells you that you haven't cleaned your machine in a while. It is, we're going to keep the family references going. It is like a distant friend with advice that you don't want or need. So, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? It is not even timed to machine usage. From my experience, it is timed to how long your machine is sat there. So if it's sitting there idle, if you're using it all the time, it's too infrequent. If you're not using your machine as much, it's telling you to clean it when you barely use it all. The things it lists there are not things you want to be doing as often. So you don't want to be messing with your mirrors unless you're doing something messy. If it's really easy, and I've seen it. People swear up and down, I did everything, I cleaned everything, and they put a mirror in backwards, and it takes a video chat to figure that out. So you don't need to clean the mirrors, you don't need to oil the rails every time that goes off. Another rare maintenance thing is the water. So on this side, I'm not going to take it apart. I love you all, but not that much. Under here is a reservoir. And so, people go, oh, I need to change the water. It's not like the oil on a car. It's not every 1,000 miles. It's a closed loop system. The only reason you need to add is if it arrived and it wasn't full, because I know that some places shipping, it either needs to ship empty or it needs to, have less liquid in it. So if you get it and you get an error, that would be a time to look there. All right, so on this side is the distilled water. It's a closed system. Nothing evaporates out of there. If you had a tube break, yes, you would lose water. You would need to refill it. You'd also probably need to drain it. Make sure there's no glass in there. Super rare occasion. It's not a maintenance thing. If you have a little bit down, then then adding a little distilled water to bring it up just above. There's, as you look through the cap, there's a little white piece that goes down. You want it just above that white piece. If you fill it all the way full, you're going to have issues. It's not going to be able to bring coolant in. But again, you shouldn't be messing with it. You should never take off a panel unless you have to. Leave it alone. It'll come home, dragging its tail behind it. So that's a rare thing. Antifreeze, again, if you're starting from scratch, if xTool didn't send you antifreeze with your replacement tube, which they often do, there's a mixture of antifreeze and coolant to fill that back up again. Unless you have it in either really hot conditions or like really cold conditions, like out in a garage that isn't insulated, the antifreeze just makes it more efficient. It's not actually, it's not crucial, I guess. So topping off a little bit of water if it's a little bit low, again, distilled water is fine. Another rare maintenance would be oiling the rails. People use sewing machine 3-in-1 oil. I have never done that, but my machine has never gotten so dirty that oil would get soaked up by something. So in a couple of years, it's still never gotten that bad. People that like to do that, that's fine. But it's certainly not something you need to do each time the Laserbox, chimes up and says, hey, have you done your maintenance? So now on to things that are easy to mess up. Backwards mirrors, getting the lens in upside down is something, that's also possible. All of a sudden it's doing really thick lines, doing really weird stuff. Magnets, like I said, in the mirrors, those are little magnets. Sometimes they're not glued very well. They can double up. It's really hard to detect it because they're both really small, but it throws your cutting way off. So you're seeing double lines on the right side of the machine. It's an alignment issue. And one of the main culprits would be I just cleaned it and a magnet has gotten loose. Or, it's slightly out of alignment just because of normal use and shaking. And it's cutting worse on the right side than the left side. And then again, there's videos to watch alignment issues. I didn't really go over, any of the cosmetic cleaning. You can obviously, this is, wood and plastic, so you can clean the outside. Something else super cool. I got these for another project and I got them too small. These are super neat. They're magnetic, and I have these stuck in here so that I can turn them on if I need extra light. So those are super, super cool. They have an off setting, a motion setting, and they have an on setting. So, which is really cool. And if you have interest in that, I can dig out the box fast and give you more information. If I turn this into a video, I'll post the information about this as well, because this is super neat. To be able to recharge something that has good power and doesn't have any of the issues of heat or some compressed air, like bottled air. It can cause water vapor to, it's not a big deal, but this is dry for sure. Thanks for making it this far. Again, subscribing, liking the videos are super helpful. There's affiliate links. I feel like I feel weird mentioning it, but if you're buying xTool stuff, clicking on affiliate link is a huge helpful. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps me carve out more time to do things like that. So I appreciate everybody who has supported me through that, and anybody who will consider to do that, especially if there are new machines in your future that I can help you out with from xTool. Let me know.